Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we have a pretty exciting video. This here is a 2022 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack. This one is actually a TA 392. So this is within the Scat Pack realm. It still has the 6.4 392 engine. Looking down the side here, you see we have the TA stripes that harken back to the old Challengers, like the 1970 and that era. So we have these 4-piston Brembo brakes on the front there. It does have an option to get a 6-piston Brembo brake, but this one has the 4-piston option. This one is completely stocked down to having no window tint, so this is literally exactly how it came from the factory. Still got the stock tires on there. We'll be doing a Dragy test later in this video. Looking at the back, so we have this nice spoiler. It says Challenger TA on there. See our exhaust tips there. They have the bright finish. Only Hellcats and above have like the black finish on the tailpipes. So you can see there. Rear parking sensors, backup camera, all that good stuff. Nice black fuel door. Has a really good muscle car silhouette, as Challengers do so well. Well, let's go ahead and hop inside and check it out. All right guys, so looking at the door panel, you can see we have this nice stitching up here. This is part of an upgrade package, having the stitching up top, soft touch right here. Everything is soft touch. Hard plastic down below. This one does have that Alpine sound system. Memory seats. You can see it has some really big couch style seats, that's for sure. It says TA on there. Power for the bottom part and for the lumbar, manual for the back part. We got our steering wheel that has the paddle shifters on it with you can control like the radio stations and stuff on the back. And then while we're sitting over here, let's go ahead and check out the back seat. I mean, I know it's not really important in a muscle car, but Challengers do have a somewhat decent back seat. So this seat's kind of all the way back, so that's why it looks like this, because I'm sitting up here. I'm 6'6", but you can see the back is actually not that bad and it actually has decent headroom. So if you're not super duper tall, you can actually fit in the back of a Challenger as long as the person in the front scoots the seat up a little bit. And you even have a little armrest and air vents back there. All right guys, let's go ahead and start it up here. Has a really good startup sound, kind of shakes the car a little bit. So that's kind of exciting, adds to like the drama. You can see we have this, I believe that's an 8.4-inch screen. It's actually pretty responsive, believe it or not. So it has heated, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. Has some performance pages that those actually take forever to load, but let me show you guys the different drive modes here. So you can see we have auto, custom, sport, and track. Custom, you can kind of change it to the way you want it. It also has launch control. Track obviously is, you know, the most aggressive mode. And we'll be testing these modes out in the driving portion and also when we get to the Dragy part of this video as well. So I'm curious to see what a stock 392 does on stock tires and everything. All right guys, just pop the hood here. Nice quiet engine, 6.4 liter V8, 392 cubic inches. It's got this nice little intake right here, but that came from the factory that way. It puts out 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. And these cars weigh anywhere between like 42 to 4,300 pounds. One benefit to the Challenger is how big the trunk is. So when you open this up here, you can see tons of space in here. You can put tons of suitcases, luggages, all that stuff. It's pretty deep and it's also pretty wide. And then the opening for the trunk is pretty big as well. All right guys, I got you all set up on the POV head now. We got our Dragy set up for when we get to do our Mexico runs. But let's go ahead and see how the Scat Pack drives. This one obviously is the ZF 8-speed automatic. So right off the bat, just so you guys know how a 6'6" person fits in a Scat Pack, leg room is fine. I have a pretty decent amount of wiggle room. The door is pretty far away from me. I'm not a super like big person, but leg room is good. Headroom is fine. This one does not have a sunroof. I have ridden in Challengers with the sunroof and I don't fit because the headroom is really bad. But without the sunroof, I can sit in here just fine, no issues. However, I am pretty close to the top. I'm kind of high up. Right off the bat, it sounds really good. If you guys are unfamiliar with my channel, I had a 2020 Mustang GT, and some days I do miss that V8 sound. If you guys don't know, right now I have a BMW M2 and a Tesla Model 3. So those cars don't sound anything like a V8 would. So sometimes I do miss the V8 sound because it does sound really good. So much torque too, like I'm barely stepping on the gas. So much torque. I'm barely stepping on the gas at all. And it just goes. Transmission is absolutely amazing. It's a ZF 8-speed auto, like I mentioned. So it's the same one that's used in like BMWs and you know, Jaguar, Land Rover. Like there's a lot of companies that use the ZF 8-speed auto, and it's known to be really good. And in this car is no exception. Dodge did a great job of tuning it. When you're just cruising down the road like this, feels good, just cruising along. The car does feel like a big car, and it is. It's, you know, almost 4,300 pounds. The dash is like really long and way out there. The hood has that huge bulge in it. I feel like I'm piloting a pretty big vehicle, but maybe that adds to the substantialness when you're driving it. Steering feels fine, you know, feels like normal steering. If you're wondering how Challengers handle, they don't handle as bad as you'd think, but it's definitely not like Camaro, for example. Like Camaro handles really good. All right, so now we're in sport. It looks like it turned the electronic stability control onto sport as well. So it might let us get a little bit more loose. Suspension, in case you're wondering, this one doesn't have like adaptive dampers or anything. The suspension is a little on the stiffer side. You can definitely tell you're in a sports car with the way the suspension feels. It's not like a loosey-goosey or wallowy suspension. It definitely is pretty tight. And then one thing I noticed as well is the steering got heavier when I put in the sport mode. So much torque though, like I barely have to step on the gas and it goes. Wow. Sounds really good and definitely gets bumpy. I don't think it has adaptive dampers. Let's see, let's put it in auto mode. Yeah, it still feels the same. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty bumpy suspension, I'll be honest with you guys. It feels kind of like my M2 suspension. All right, so we're in auto mode. We won't use launch control right now because I don't think launch control will help. This car's on the stock tires. It has 13,000 miles on the stock Pirellis. And if you guys know anything about Pirellis and Challengers, you know that they don't hook with Pirellis. But let's go and do our first little run here. Actually, let's check out Mexico first and make sure it's nice and clean. We'll check out Mexico first. Feels really good, you know? And based on the cars that I own, it's definitely a lot. Well, I guess the Tesla's different, but a lot of the turbo cars I've owned, they're not instant like that. Like some cars are better than others with the way it spools up and stuff, but nothing beats like a big V8 like this that's naturally aspirated, because the responsiveness is just immediate. Like when you step on the gas, it just takes off. Like there's no delaying or waiting or anything. So there is something to be said about that, and having so much torque at like a low RPM as well with a big V8 like this. Make a U-ey. Turning radius is pretty good. Let's do a little acceleration, get up to speed here. Okay, yeah. It gets up and moves pretty good. It gets pretty loose in the back though, I will say that, with these stock tires. It does get pretty loose. All right, we're gonna try our Dragy run here. By the way, the brakes are incredible. So this one just has the 4 pistons, but it stops super fast. Like I'm barely stepping on the brakes and it really slows down. So that's pretty cool. All right guys, let's do our little Dragy run here. Wish me luck. I don't think you really need to brake torque these really. So I'm just gonna put it in the track mode and I'm just gonna floor it and see what it does. I might need to feather it the next time, but we'll see. So that was a horrible launch. You can see it was spinning really bad. The car did do a pretty good job of managing it though. It didn't just let me just sit there and spin. Okay, taking this corner at some speed. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bigger vehicle. Like you can kind of feel that it's bigger and stuff, and you don't want to go around corners like too fast. It's definitely more of like a straight line car. Though that was an absolutely horrible quarter mile. Like I did not expect it to be that bad. Ooh, 13.84 at 108.81. But that was a 6-second 0 to 60. Wow. Yeah, it gets no traction. That's the only issue. 0 to 60, 6.04, and then if you count 1 foot rollout, which is what like the magazines do, 5.7. Yeah, that's really bad. That's weird. Let me try it in auto mode and see what that does. If you guys don't know, this is the same Challenger that raced my Stage 1 91 tuned Golf R, and from a roll it was like dead even to like 160, and then this started coming past it, which is really interesting. Actually, that was a really interesting race, so feel free to watch that. Doesn't help that this road is a little dusty. I guess that wasn't as bad. There we go. Did the quarter mile. Let's see how it handles this corner here. Not bad. Okay, that was really bad too. So that one, just so you guys can see, that was a 13.8 at 110.34. So the trap speed's not bad. I mean, I have seen on Car and Driver Scat Pats can trap anywhere between 112 to 115. Obviously I'm getting nowhere even near that. And the conditions aren't that bad. I mean, it's 70 degrees outside, 2,500 feet elevation, 3,800 feet DA, and we're on 91 octane, or I think we're on 91 octane. I'll have to ask the owner and see. Wow, that's crazy. It just doesn't take off. I can't. Yeah, the Pirellis are really, really bad. I'll try a 60 to 130 if I can do it on this stretch of road, if I have enough runway to do that, and see what it does 60 to 130, because then we'll have a better idea how it is once it's rolling. I'll leave it in the sport mode. The track mode shifts aggressive, but it almost seems like it kind of like bogs between shifts. I don't know. So I'm gonna leave it in the sport mode, and I'm gonna slow down to like 40 and then take off, so then it's already moving once it gets past 60. All right, here we go. Okay, we were able to do a 6130. Wow, that was right towards the end of that runway. Going easy on the brakes. We don't want to cook the brakes here. So I'll say it did a 13-second flat 60 to 130. And I'm right. 13.0. That's interesting. I thought they were quicker than that, but that's okay. So there's all that data. I'll throw it up on the screen if you guys can't see it, but yeah, 13.0, 60 to 130. I think my Golf R with the Stage 1 tune did a 12.8. So that explains that roll race that we did, because the Golf R was kind of in front for pretty much a lot of the time, but this would start coming past at really high speeds. I think this car would be a good race with a lot of cars that kind of are around that, like a M340, Kia Stinger GT. Those I feel like would all be a good run with the Scat Pack. At least this specific one. I have driven in other Scat Packs that, I'm gonna be honest, do feel a little faster. I don't know why that is. This is a 2022, so maybe like the earlier ones, I don't know, maybe they were put a little bit more power into them. I'm not sure, but yeah, with the Scat Pack, you definitely need to make sure you do like a roll because from a standstill you get no traction. You got to get tires when you have a Scat Pack. These are the stock tires, so this is what you get out of the box, but you definitely need to get tires if you want to have any sort of traction. Or you can just have fun sliding it around. If you like getting no traction, you can just have fun sliding it around. As you guys may or may not know, Scat Packs are familiar for doing stuff like that, probably because they're so easy to do it with. All that torque and no traction makes it so that you can do a lot of burnouts, donuts, burnouts, well, you name it. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this little review of the Scat Pack, give this video a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.